Hi, mi primer video de YouTube. This is my first YouTube video officially. This is the camera. Well, for those who for some reason don't know, my name is Gema Isabel, and I'm gonna keep this video as short as I can, considering it's my first. I didn't really write a script. I'm just excited to start talking. In this video, I'm gonna talk about my book, 11. It's on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description. 11, A Pre-Teenage Fable, is a book that I started sketching and crafting the idea ever since I was 10 years old, and 10 to 11 years old, and during the summer of quarantine, within the month of June, I finished writing it. De una sentada, I finished writing 11, and most of the songs of the book. 11 is actually, I originally wrote it as a screenplay, and it's supposed to be a musical composed of 15 songs and 16 chapters, if I'm not wrong. Or is it? Yep, 16 chapters. What inspired me to write this musical was Melanie Martinez, and most specifically her film K through 12. I was really inspired by it. I saw it during early 2019. I was in complete awe, and many of my songs are also, the ones I have published right now, also inspired by her. Originally, the first genre and style of music I started singing, it was all inspired by her, and a bit of Lin-Manuel Miranda, because I also watched Hamilton during that time. 11, A Pre-Teenage Fable, it's basically about this the changes that an 11-year-old girl goes through, a pre-teenage girl goes to, and pre-teenage kids. It's basically about how adolescents, and more specifically pre-adolescents, view the world from their perspective. I wrote it during the time in which I just turned into a pre-teenage, so my view of the world is basically imprinted on these pages. And I've had many people read my book and give me amazing feedback. Feedback that has most surprised me is the one I get from adults when they read it. I had a very special teacher. I was only with her for a few months, but when she read my book, she told me that it was intense, and it helped her communicate herself better with her students, considering they were adolescents and they were pre-teenagers. So it's interesting how a book from the view of a young girl inspires teachers and adults to better communicate with adolescents. The events that take place in my book 11, they're most of them are actually real events that actually occurred. Actually, the protagonist, her name herself is 11. Everything she goes through, most of those events, although altered, they are based on real circumstances that I went through and how I viewed them in that moment in my life. It's actually already been 4 or 5 years ever since then. Time flies. Looking back at it now, it feels like such a little thing, but it's actually, those things that happened to me in that moment in my life, they were really impactful, So it's good to know that I have all those experiences written down on this book. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you, for my first written book, well, it's not my first book. It's actually it's the second book I've written in my life. The first book I wrote, I never published it, and you probably won't hear from it in a few years. But 11 is my first published book, and at the beginning I was really embarrassed when people read it, because, you know, especially now, because the way that I wrote, the vocabulary I used here is the vocabulary that I used as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old girl. And now I just turned 15. I don't really talk or use that vocabulary anymore, and heck, I don't write like this anymore. I've been taking writers classes, learning how to write better, how to write poetry and prose, and I write much different now. The events that my protagonist 11 goes through are most common. She gathers a lot of friends throughout the book, approximately like 6-7 friends, and in the end they all team up and try to face the problems of the world in the way that they find it, you know, more convenient, considering they're young. They believe that many things are possible, and that if it's for the greater good, then you can just do things that you wouldn't believe could actually be done to solve the world's problems. I think what I liked most about writing 11 was because I felt like I was going on a trip. Like, while telling this story, I felt like I was like taking a trip down memory lane, or repeating some events, but in a more adventurous way, in ways that I could control what was gonna happen. And it felt like I was going on my own trip while writing the book. It just feels like an adventure. When, at least for me, the experience of writing a book is a whole different adventure. It's amazing. Like, even if you're just writing it for fun and you're not gonna publish it, when you're writing a book, you're inspired to think speed as you create stories, or you can write your own story in there, and you control each event that occurs, how each character's gonna act, how they're gonna be. It's fun, honestly. And though many people want to write books but they don't know where to start, and I've had moments like that, especially now that I'm writing more often, the best advice they can give you is just write. Honestly, when you first get the idea, just keep writing it down. Just keep writing on your computer or with a pencil. Just keep writing. The idea's coming to you. You just keep writing. Don't even think about the grammar or how bad it looks or how bad the dialogue is. Just keep writing, because, you know, you're in the free writing phase, as I would call it, as many call it. And that's the phase when you get the idea and you just write everything that's coming down to you. After you're done and you've practically finished the book, then you can go back to everything, all the amazing art you've written, and you can start revising the paragraphs, separating this and that, naming each character, their details, whatever you want. But don't focus on the grammar mistakes when you've barely gotten through even half of your idea. I said I was gonna keep this video short, so I'm gonna end it here. Next time, once I've done sketching the questions for this video, I will do a part 2. And if you guys have any questions about my book, the link is down below in the description, so you can go buy it. tell me in the comments and let me know. This is my first YouTube video officially. This is fun. I just gotta work on the scripting. I'm trying to keep it English, but in most of my videos I'm also gonna talk Spanglish. So keep a heads up on that. Bye.